The second part of this assignment is submitting the work breakdown structure, or the WBS. From our lecture, or module lectures, the WBS is a detailed list of project work activities. It can be graphically based, and I think there is an example further down here. So it's graphical in that we have a listing of primary deliverables, or with the various tasks to create those deliverables, or it can be work process based. If you think back to my project proposal that I demonstrated, here is the graphical, or an example of the graphical WBS for my project. Now, I chose, the WBS can be built a couple of different ways. I chose to build this based upon the project approach, the phases of the project, that's the blue boxes here, and the individual deliverables within each of these phases. I want you to take a look at each of these deliverables. So in design, we're going to design our manufacturing lines. To be real clear, I could have put design manufacturing line. I should have labeled that design manufacturing lines. I'm going to assess my power requirements and my cooling requirements, and design my workflow, assess tool requirements, and build out. I'll contract with a general contractor and review the contractor plans under limited first run, etc., etc. So it's a way of decomposing the work, breaking it out by phase, so it's easily understandable and easily consumable. From this graphical work breakdown structure, I can create a detailed list of work items. So here I've taken those, how many boxes we had? Something like 18 boxes, and I converted them to closer to 83 very specific detailed work items. In planning, I'm going to lay out our initial high-level schedule, identify key milestones, identify resources, calculate the product manufacturing quantities, and review that with the sponsor. I have a summary activity called staffing, where I create my project scope presentation, review that with the sponsor, etc., etc. Notice that each activity has a verb, adjective, noun. Identify necessary resources. Review my current workflow. Identify my site requirements, schedule an on-site visit. I've also decomposed the work so I don't have just one long block of text, but I have laid out the work in a very detailed manner to clearly articulate the work that needs to be done and how that work should be done. What this does is it lays out a structure from which I can start putting together a schedule. So I can take this list of tasks and create an actual schedule out of it by identifying predecessors, identifying my resources, estimating the work effort and the duration. I can now define the start and end dates leading to the final date of my project, or the planned completion date of my project. And this is what is key to laying out our WBS. If I tried to do this at one time, I could be overwhelmed by all of the details. But by beginning with a graphical layout of the project work, I can take a high-level view of that work. I can decompose that work into a little bit more detail, listing the actual work items or the work tasks that need to be performed. And now I can estimate those work items, estimate the work effort and the duration, define the sequence of events to come up with the final schedule for the project. For our assignment, you're required to create a WBS. I recommend creating the graphical WBS. We're going to convert this into a detailed work breakdown structure or work list in the next module, but start with a high-level view and breakout of your project. It can be by phases, as I have done, or instead of phases here, you can make these initial deliverables and the high-level work items to create those initial deliverables. If you choose, you can also create the work item list here, although frankly I think it's easier to lay out 18 to 20 boxes at the outset of a project than it is to lay out 83 work items. Okay? I hope that helps you. Your assignment for Module 2 is your project proposal and a work breakdown structure, either graphical or a detailed list as I'm presenting now.